In our last video, we talked a lot about this schematic here. Let me just switch this to full screen real quick so we have a little bit more of a view for you. Okay, a little larger view. We talked about this diagram. It's an air handler and a condenser and a split system. Okay, it's 208 volt. Now, let's talk about the next diagram that on our list. It's slightly different, but not by much. If you look at it, you'll see that the biggest difference here is that we have, okay, let me, that's not what I wanted, but the biggest difference we have here in the center is we have a circuit board. Okay, it's an integrated fan control. You see these on more and more air handlers, okay, that are being installed. You don't anymore have separate packages or separate controls for everything. It's on a single circuit board. The biggest difference is your connections are all in one spot. Okay, this is a fan control, happens to be. But you see these now with the circuit boards as well. So let's go ahead and connect this in. So let's, again, we're going to look at the difference between the two different units. Okay, so when I look at this schematic, I have a pretty clear delineation down the center between what is my indoor and outdoor units. Okay, my indoor unit, my air handler is on this side. I'm just going to go ahead and label it. And my condenser or my outdoor unit is on the other side. Okay, so now we've made that clear. Now let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and start drawing our lines in. I am going to start with the condenser this time, and I'm going to start with the line voltage. Okay, I'm going to come out of my contactor and I'm going to come over to T1. And the most important thing I'm going to do here is I am going to look for opportunities to jump wires. Okay, so what I mean by jump wires is I want a connection point, okay, so that I'm not running new wires back to everything. Okay, and you know what, in this case, just to go along with what you're going to see most often outside, I'm going to go ahead and take this wire up here, and my contact point or my junction point is actually the contactor T1. That's what you're most often going to see. So out of my run winding, okay, we're going to connect power to my run winding always. Okay, now we're going to come over to my start winding. Okay, and then out of T2, and I'm going to draw in my power feed for T2. Okay, that's my condenser line voltage. Now, please don't forget I have some control voltage here too. Now, let's look at my air handler. Okay, my air handler line voltage is, I do have a 240 volt with L1 and L2, but I only have a switching device that we're going to use for L1. So I'm going to come in here, okay, and I have to come into my transformer primary. Okay, don't forget about that. Okay. Now, a lot of times internally there might be a wire from the top of L1 to the transformer primary, but I just want to show you it's there. I'm going to come out of my transformer secondary. I'm going to use a junction point of my motor windings. And I'm going to do that. Okay, now I still have to deal with my wiring form to power my fan. So let's come out of the, actually we need to come out of the normally open. And that's my fan wiring. Okay, now if I want to make this easier for you to read, let's go ahead and we can change the wire color on L2 to blue. Okay, and we can actually do that all the way. Do that on the other side too. Just takes a second here. That way you could see the jumps much easier. Okay, L1 is black, L2 is blue. Now, let's deal with the control voltage, because that's where a lot of people get in trouble here. Okay, now let's think about the wiring between an indoor and an outdoor unit. You're never going to run individual wires directly from the thermostat to outside. Okay, so you have to come in through the air handler and make all your junctions inside the air handler. This is what this is showing you. So I'm going to change to a green wire. I'm going to put my G in. Let's get that out of the way. Okay, I'm going to go to, let's go to a yellow wire. Actually, let's leave that green. And let's go to a yellow wire and let's run my, we're going to use that Y down there as a junction point. Okay, it doesn't do anything, but it's a good junction point. Okay, and then I'm going to take and run my red wire. So that connects in my thermostat. Now, what do I need to do to get the wires outside? I have two wires that need to go outside. I have to have a Y. Okay. And let's make this. Okay, so I have to have a Y wire. And that's going to come there because that's my junction point. And I have to have a common. So let's go ahead and use brown in this case as the common. And that's going to connect to the common. Let's drop that down a little bit and let's make a connector. And that connects to the common of the secondary side. So again, we have a 3-wire thermostat wire, so it would be like 18.3 or 18.4 if you want to provide a spare going to the thermostat. Then we have an 18.2 going to your outside unit. This makes this wiring diagram is much more representative of what you are going to see in actual life. Okay, now as far as a schematic goes, okay, we basically have the same schematic. Okay, for our last diagram, this was our schematic. Okay, but we've dropped one component. There's no pressure switch here. If you look at this, I don't have any pressure switches. So we're going to basically change, and we're going to change the diagram a little bit, and we're just going to remove. Okay, I'm going to take that. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to take that. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to delete that. Okay, then I'm just going to come in. Okay, so it's the same diagram. Nothing's changed. And we changed our voltages, so let me deal with that. Take that out, take that out. Okay, so really nothing else has changed. Same diagram, same sequence of operation. We just changed a little bit on the pictorial about how it looks. Okay. So this is a residential or light commercial split system.